coming to Woodward Sports. Woodward and Main Street. The Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle Dee Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Good morning and welcome back to Woodward and Main Street. Welcome back because we are back after the bye week. We are back after a 15-minute delay, but we are back and we are ready to get the show started because it is a Lions game day and we're so happy that you're here to kick it off with us. I'm Gabrielle Dee Phillips. Alongside me, Matt Broder.
Good morning.
And Terry Foster. Guys.
Hopefully it won't take the Lions 15 minutes later on to get ready.
No, they need to come out right from the start.
Right from the beginning. How was your bye weeks? How were they?
I'll start. Mine was good. I feel like we haven't seen football. We've seen Lions football in so long. It feels like way longer than, 2 weeks, 13 days, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to get back, I guess for the Lions to get back on the field and for us to be able to watch them.
That's
exactly.
right. I went to the apple orchard.
Of course you did, Terry Foster. That's always what you get up to on the bye week, right?
Well, yeah, I do that. And then when the Lions, when they used to stink at the second half of the games, I used to go to the apple orchard just to forget about them.
Now, did you go to an apple orchard with the alcoholic beverages?
I did, but I didn't have alcoholic beverages.
Okay.
Because it was too early in the morning.
You want to know something funny? I also spent my bye week going to an apple orchard.
Oh, wow.
Well, really, it was more like a cider mill, but in the same realm.
Which one?
It's the same thing.
I went over to Yates over
That's a popular
in Rochester.
one. Yep.
Gotta love it. Went for a nice walk on the Pink Creek Trail and went over to Yates.
I was at, I think mine was Father John's.
Okay.
Which is south of Alma.
Nice.
Nice. So everyone enjoyed our bye. It was nice weather here in Detroit, but I feel like, it was like the calm before the storm. We got the second half of the season staring us down, and the Lions got a chance to do some special stuff.
Special chance
ready?
today. I'm ready. Are you ready, Terry?
You know what the Lions did on their bye week? They took all the bandages and ointment off because it looks like they're trying to get healthy.
Yeah. I think ointment's one of those words that I just can't hear. It's not.
Ointment doesn't sound good, but it's good for you.
It is, and it seemed to be good to the Lions over their bye week. Much less extensive injury list. But on the opposite side of the ball, the Chargers that the Lions will face off today against in Los Angeles. Let's all say it together.
Los Angeles.
San Diego.
They'll always be.
I knew that was coming. They only had Justin Herbert on their list of questionable injuries, and his is not even one for us to be worried about as we were reporting on the team.
Yeah, he's been dealing with, was it a finger injury for a while, so he'll be on there.
On his non-dominant hand.
Yeah, it still affects a quarterback, especially when you're gripping a football, but nothing that we should really think affects Justin Herbert's play. And Joey Bosa he had an illness pop up on Thursday, but he's a full go. He's expected to play today, so they're healthy. The Lions
coming off of a short week.
Yeah, coming off of a short week. They played Monday Night Football. They beat the Jets. They handed the Jets a pretty tough loss, but they should be ready to go. This is one of their tests. This is a good test for both teams. Two high-powered offenses, both on different types of trajectories. It's going to be a fun game, I believe.
I think so, and I do have to point out before we really get into things.
Look at that! Look at that bobblehead.
And look what's over on Terry's desk, too.
I didn't open mine.
Matt came through on his promise to Terry and brought him a bobblehead.
I know. I said, no, Matt's not going to bring my bobblehead. Now I'm thinking it's empty, that Matt just brought me an empty box.
Should we have an unboxing on the show? We should have an unboxing. Have you seen those on TikTok, Terry?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think I want to, I have a bunch of buddies for him to meet. I want to take him out the box so he can meet his new friends.
Love it. Love it. Okay, so we have an exciting show for all of you today because we were thrilled. Last night we were all saying it feels like Christmas Eve because we're actually coming back today to do Woodward and Main Street. And as a special treat for you, we're going to go right through this entire hour, no commercial breaks, because that's how we do it over here on Woodward and Main Street because we have a lot to cover. We just don't have time for commercials.
That's right. We got a lot to say, so let's roll.
What's going on? So the Lions are coming off of a bye week and the Chargers are coming off of a short week like we mentioned. And the Lions cannot lose this one because of that and many other reasons, but that's a huge factor. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think this game is unfair to the Chargers. The only advantage they have, of course, is they play at home. And, of course, people don't care about football in Los Angeles, so I don't know how much of a home field advantage it's going to be. There are probably more Lion fans there than will be Charger fans.
There really might be.
I wonder.
There's a lot of Lions fans. A lot of people from Detroit who live in L.A. or will take advantage of a West Coast game. This is the only one of the season, so they might have more fans than the Chargers.
Right.
I think I would go with like a 60-40 split here.
Lions-Chargers fans?
Chargers-Lions. I think Lions would be about 40%.
It could be the other way around. Don't be surprised.
Really?
I've been to L.A. and they like, if it's not the Lakers, they don't care.
Okay.
Because they got a lot going on out there. They got Hollywood. They got stars walking around everywhere. And
the beach.
The beach.
You can go to the beach.
They have a lot of activities to do on a bye week.
You actually can go to the beach and get in the water and not freeze your ass off.
Might
So
be a
they
little
got a lot
chilly
going
now.
on there. So they're not really invested in that team. And plus, look at the Rams. The Rams won the Super Bowl. They had like 25 people at the victory parade.
Yeah. It was pretty sad.
Chargers would be even less.
Do the Lions historically play well on the West Coast? I know it's 50-50 kind of teams traveling to the West Coast from the East. From your history, do they usually play well out there?
No, they usually, in my history, they don't play well anywhere. They don't play well at home. They don't play well on the West Coast, the East Coast,
That is a fantastic
South
point,
Coast,
Derek.
North Coast, whatever coast you're looking at. But now
North
this is
Coast
a
and
different
South
team,
Coast.
so you can't equate this Lions team to the other Lion teams.
Basically, that was a dumb question.
There are no dumb
there's
questions.
No such thing as a dumb question. Just maybe misinformed.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
There we go.
I think it came from a good place.
Yeah.
I was curious.
I think they're going to have themselves a day, and we're going to get into score predictions later. I feel good about this day for the Lions, and I'll save my the ultra positivity for a little bit later.
Yeah.
But I just think they're going to have a a one out there. I have this weird feeling.
Yeah, I can't wait for your prediction. I think your bunion is hurting.
It might be. Bunions.
Your
Bunions.
bunions.
This is a bunion.
Something
He's got to.
instinctive is coming through for you.
So, coming off of the bye week, what position group do you believe Dan Campbell spent the most time with? And then, what position group do you wish he spent the most time with?
I think it's the same defensive
Okay.
line.
Okay.
I'm sorry, folks. I know they have to generate that pass rush. Now they've been blitzing a little bit more because they're not getting to the quarterback. So I think he emphasized more with the defensive line. I think that's who he should focus on more.
Yeah. And the Chargers' offensive line isn't so strong. They got Rashawn Slater, who's very good, but not amazing, but he's a very good offensive tackle. But the rest are kind of weak. I shouldn't say weak, mediocre or mid, as the kids say these days. There's an opportunity for these guys, for the Lions' defensive line to get some pressure on Justin Herbert, which I think is a key.
Or maybe you can describe the San Diego. I'm not saying. I knew I was going to do it. Chargers offensive line is
Yeah, perfect.
All right.
They're all right. It's
They're okay.
weird. They're a weird offensive line. They try to run the ball, but they're not. Their personnel doesn't really fit. Like their center's 6'5", and it just doesn't seem to be working. They've got a great running back in Austin Eckler, but you're right. Defensive line works. I'm going to pick a different one. I think Dan Campbell spent a lot of time with the offensive weapons, with the guys on the outside. I know he likes to spend his time with the tight ends, the big boys in the middle, the offensive and defensive line. But this is the first time the Lions have had all their weapons healthy. We're talking Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Khalif Raymond, Josh Reynolds. They're all there. Maybe Donovan Peoples-Jones, their newest wide receiver. So I do think it's a big game for Ben Johnson, but I think double Dan Campbell spent some extra time with them.
We're already off our game. There is one answer to this.
Okay.
Not just a position group, but one player Dan Campbell should have spent his entire bye week with. It's one guy.
Jared Goff?
Nope.
No.
Laporta?
Nope.
No. Jamison Williams.
Bam. Jamison Williams. They got to
Terry,
get him up to
I can
speed.
read your mind.
That's scary.
Do you think he can make an impact in this game, though? Like, this game feels kind of set up for him to break out a little bit.
You know, don't we say that every week?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I, a lot of this is not Jamison Williams' fault. I don't think the Lions are putting him in the best position to succeed.
I happen to agree with you.
Some of the routes they're running, and I think they should let him rip like 3 or 4 times a game and say, hey, dude, just go out there and we're going to hit you.
Get him the ball in a wide receiver screen or just a short slant, just so he gets the ball in his hands around the line of scrimmage. Let his speed go. Let him use his talent, his explosiveness to his advantage, not just on a deep route where it's got to be a connection between Jared Goff and J-Mo. It's got to all work perfect. Just try to get the ball in his hands. Maybe a reverse, maybe something where he's rushing out of the backfield. Just get the ball in the man's hands.
I like the reverse better than the little comeback routes and stuff like that, because I just think that the timing with Jameson and Jared Goff is not there.
Yeah.
So give him a little reverse. I'm more comfortable with that, or just let him fly. The Miami Dolphins. Who's the fastest guy in the National Football League?
Tyreek Hill?
Tyreek Hill. You know what they do with him?
What?
They hide him. They put him in motion, which I don't see them doing with J-Mo, and then they have him begin his route between the tight end and the offensive tackle. So he's going through minutia, and then all of a sudden he's, bam.
Just kind of
open.
finds his way out of the mess of people.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, where is Tyreek Hill? Oh, there he is, and it's too late.
Interesting. So you think maybe do a little something like that with Jameson?
Something creative.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think Ben Johnson needs to get in his bag today, pull out some tricks. Maybe not tricks, just pull out some more creativity to get him the ball.
Plus, you had a bye week. The bye week is not just about getting healthy. It's about getting people up to speed too, who are not up to speed. And Jameson Williams, he could turn this offense on its ears.
Yes,
he can make this offense different. But once again, you got to work at it. And this is Ben Johnson, and this is Dan Campbell, and of course J-Mo too. They all have to do this. I think it's essential that they get this guy up to speed at some point. I'm not confident it's going to happen this season.
Yeah.
Maybe it has to happen next season, where Jared Goff and J-Mo spend April together, just throwing balls or something like that.
But I feel like they were kind of already doing that this season, and I don't think Lions fans want to wait an entire season for J-Mo to now develop again. They've already had to wait potentially 2 seasons. We're already a season and a half in.
Well, then you have to make this decision. If you don't see it this season, do you give up on J-Mo? Do you trade him in the offseason? So do you have to see it in November or December? And if you don't see it, you're like, okay, this experiment didn't work. Let's try to get some draft picks for this guy or whatever. Or do you still give him next season?
Yeah, I think this is the perfect time in the season to just unload on him. Whether it's this game or next game, but this stretch of teams, we talk a lot about how light the Lions schedules get, and yes, it's the NFL.
Yeah.
Any given Sunday, anybody can win, but this is a stretch where you want to evaluate Jameson both for what he can do to help you the rest of the season and ideally in the playoffs. But like you said, Terry, next year too, is he in your long-term plans? It's I don't want to say it's now or never, but it's soon or never. I have faith in Jameson. I want to see it work out.
How about this? If it doesn't happen against the Chicago Bears, it's not going to happen.
I'm down.
Resurgent Minnesota, what do they do? They blitz all the time. So it's hard to get deep patterns against Minnesota because you're not going to have time. So intermediate routes, screen plays work really well against them. But if you're going to just have him jet, it takes a while, even with a fast guy like him, for that play to develop.
Yeah.
So I think if we're going to see him explode, it's going to be against the Bears.
Now, you brought it up, and I want to emphasize this, is what happened while we were away with the Vikings. So obviously, Kirk Cousins no longer playing this season. Who knows what will happen?
His foot is gone.
Yes, so he is out for the season. Dobbs is in, and there's been a kind of resurgence, as you mentioned. Now, are you worrying about that and what's happened while we've been away?
I'm not worried. I think Dobbs had a nice game. And plus, when I looked at Dobbs, I'm like, why is Charlie Villanueva quarterbacking the Minnesota Vikings when I first saw him? But, you know, I just don't think this is sustainable. A lot of guys come in, maybe have a game or two that are good, but I think the Lions can shut down Dobbs. And so am I worried about the Vikings? No.
How about
No. Hell no.
Okay.
How about that?
A statement. I'll take it. How about you, Matt?
I'm not as confident as you, Terry.
Okay.
I think they're. I don't know if worry is the right word, but I don't think they're a team to sleep on anymore. I don't know if Josh Dobbs is the type of quarterback who can lead a team for a full season, but when we're talking about a smaller sample size, and maybe 8-9 games is a big enough sample size where he can't withstand it, but he's one of those just really smart, savvy veterans. He's athletic. He was able to come in on was it Thursday Night Football, or just the day he was traded, almost come in not knowing any of the plays and just make it happen. He's floated around the league. It hasn't been because he's a bad player. Teams have used him because he's so smart. They believe he's just a reliable guy that, you know, should things break down, he can just bridge you to that next situation, that next quarterback. In Arizona, it was just getting to Kyler Murray, getting him healthy. I don't know. They have weapons on that offense. Minnesota's sneaky, and while I don't really believe in their defense, Brian Flores, their defensive coordinator, he can scheme up a game here and there, and I don't know. I'm a little more cautious about those last two games. We play the Vikings, what is it, week 16 and 18? So we got to wait a bit. We'll get a chance to see, but I'm not as confident that we're just going to roll through all those conference games. Division
sneaky.
games.
I'll give you that. They're sneaky. But Kirk Cousins is not going to be the sneaky quarterback behind center. I'd be a lot more concerned if it was him, not Josh Dobbs. But I think a guy like Josh Dobbs, he can do it for a game or two.
Yeah.
But then you're going to ask him to sustain it. You're going to ask him to bring Minnesota back from 2 games behind the Lions with 6 or 7 games to play, or 8. It's not going to happen.
Do you think the signing? Sorry, I know you're about to jump in. Do you think the signing has anything to do with Josh Dobbs maybe helping them playing against the Lions for later in the season, because he was with the Lions on their practice squad last season, or is it a little too far removed from that?
I think it's too far removed.
No, stop it.
That's what the Vikings did with
Stop
what,
trying
David
to make
Blau?
connections.
Are you really asking that question?
Yeah, that was why they signed, what was it, David Blau last year?
Here's something I hate to do. Twice in one show. Hell no. They got him because they thought they could sustain with him. Not win with him, but sustain. Kind of hang in there and see what happens. So, no, I don't think they got him and said, he was with the Lions for... He doesn't know what's going on with the Lions.
Not even a little bit? Just a little bit?
No, stop that.
All right.
I always hear that from people. I'm like, will you shut up?
Just a little bit of competitive advantage, a little legal sign stealing or something.
Interesting coming
Or,
from
no,
you.
they should, if they want to steal signs, hire Jim Harbaugh.
No, he has no connection to this sign
And
stealing
we're
scandal.
getting back to the Lions because I know what path this is going down, and I'm not letting it go down that way.
No.
So
You can't say he has no connection. They have no evidence yet.
now the Lions have
Facts.
3 games in 11 days. What would you like the record to be over these 3 games? And do you think it will be 2-1? And would you be disappointed if it was 2-1?
I think this. I'm going to answer for the fan base.
Okay, go right ahead.
If it was 2-1, yes, they would be disappointed. I think this fan base has gotten a little bit spoiled. They think the Lions are going to win every week, so I think they're looking at 3-0. But me, would I be disappointed in the Lions going 2-1? No, because I know how tough it is to win in the NFL. The NFL always throws you garbage now and then. You never know what's going to come. But look at San Francisco. A month ago, said San Francisco is the best team in the NFL. There's no team that can beat them. Then they lose 3 in a row. And then Philadelphia. Well, now it's Philadelphia. We always say, well, they look a little off. They look. So at some point, the Lions are going to lose games. But the Lions have already gone through that. I mean, look how this.
Yeah.
panic in Seattle. Mm-hmm. We panic after every loss for the Lions.
Yeah.
But it's going to happen. So I would say 2-1, thumbs up.
So if you had to pick between losing to the Chargers, the Bears, or the Packers, what game do you think that they would lose between those three?
Well, you would want them to lose this game
Okay.
against the Chargers because division games count as 2.
Yep.
So you want to win your division games, and then you win your division, and you don't care about the Chargers.
Matt, would you agree with Terry 2-1, or would you agree with Terry's fan opinion 3-0?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's the end of the world if they go 2-1.
Yeah.
But the more I've thought about this throughout the bye week, this game's more important. If they're chasing the 1 seed, which I think should be their goal, with where San Francisco's fallen, with how Philadelphia has been playing,
of course,
and Philadelphia's schedule coming up, they need to take advantage of every opportunity to get that 1 seed, and that just means winning as many total games as possible. And with their schedule being lighter coming up, if they can somehow sneak out of Los Angeles with the win, beating a decent Chargers team to a possibly good Chargers team in LA, that's one of those games that a lot of people expected the Lions to lose. One of them on the calendar that people circled as a likely or possible Lions loss. If they can escape that, that either leaves you room to have a flop of a game later in the season, or just sets you up in a better position for that 1 seed. So I just think it became more important with where everything's shaken out, where Minnesota has turned things around. This game's just a little more important than expected. It's not the end of the world. Mm-hmm. If they lost, 2-1's not a bad thing. But I think if you're chasing that 1 seed, this game is very important.
And if they were to lose one of the next 3 games, you would also want it to be this game.
Yeah. You don't ever want to lose a division game, especially at home on Thanksgiving. If you're going to lose a division game, it better be at Chicago, at Minnesota. We already took care of business. Mm-hmm. I should say the Lions already took care of business at Lambeau Field earlier in the year. Now they get them on another Thursday night. They've been all right in Thursday games so far this season.
But according to your score prediction that we'll see later in the game, I don't think that you think that they're going to lose this one.
I don't think they're going to lose. Mm-hmm. I'm confident. You'll see how confident a little bit later.
Here's why 2-1 is not a deal breaker. When you look at Philadelphia's schedule, the last 8 games they could go 5-3, which is good, but that opens up the room for the Lions to catch them and surpass them. Because they got a tough schedule. The Lions' schedule, we're looking at, who are they playing? Like Orchard Lake St. Mary.
Yeah.
Our Lady of the Lake. So
Cast
it's not real tough. I mean, they should take care of their division. They can't slip up. They can't slip up against the Bears and the Vikings.
No.
Take care of that, and you'll be good.
They'll be good. You know what we got to get into is the matchups going into today with the Lions and the Chargers. There's a lot of key people that we have to talk about that are going to be going head-to-head. So let's kick it off with Mr. Penne.
Penne?
And Mr. Joey.
This is a matchup.
I'm going to go first names here because the last name is kind of confusing with both. So we're going Penne and we're going Joey.
Penne and Joey.
Penne and Joey.
Joey, brother of Nick Bosa of the 49ers. What a family! What a family of defensive rushers in the NFL. No, this is an amazing matchup. This is strength on strength. Really, you can put Khalil Mack and Taylor Decker on the left side into the same conversation. Mm-hmm. But to see your best offensive lineman go up against one of the best defensive linemen in the league, this is going to be a battle to watch, and one that's important too. I mean, Jared Goff, his jersey needs to stay clean today. That offensive line, which is very healthy finally, with the exception of Halapoulivaati Vaitai, mm-hmm. They need to keep Bosa and Khalil Mack and Tuli, number 45, the rookie Tuli, Tui Puloto. Tuli Pulotu. He's a rookie out of USC. Amon-Ra St. Brown played with him. He's a little stud who's coming up the ranks. They play really well together. Penei Sewell needs to shut.
Who else is a stud?
Penei Sewell.
You for even attempting to say that name.
I try. I've been working on Halapoulivaati Vaitai, and now I got to get Tui Pulotu.
You know what?
Closer than I would have gotten.
If I can't pronounce a name, I just give you a nickname.
Yep.
You are the nickname king.
He's Pooey.
Not Big Pooh like Bugs?
No.
Just Pooey?
No, that name is
Bugs
reserved.
gave himself that name, Big Pooh. I didn't do that.
Yeah, self-proclaimed. But what do you think about the matchup, Penei Sewell versus Joey Bosa?
That's going to be tough for Penei Sewell. I know he's only given up 1 sack, but he'll probably give up a sack. But make sure it's not 2, 3, 4, 5. Bosa is many weeks is the best player in the National Football League. He is. And I know we always say Aaron, Donald, but Bosa, man, the dude's a stud. So you can't shut him out. You have to contain him because he's got moves. He's strong. He's creative. He's mean.
Yeah.
So, and Penei Sewell is mean too. I want to see him fight.
I want to take a moment and talk a little bit more about Penei Sewell because Nick Bosa, other Bosa brother, had said at the beginning of Sewell's career that he believed that he was going to be a solid player, that he was going to develop. He spoke very highly of him right off the bat. Yeah. Have you seen that development in him over his career thus far?
Penei Sewell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, if there's anything I think he needs to work on in his game, it's limiting some of the penalties. He sneakily gets a lot of penalties, a couple holds, a couple of false starts. There. Yeah, but in terms of both pass blocking and run blocking, it's hard to see a better tackle in the league, especially in terms of development. He was good as a rookie. What was his first game? He was going after Aaron Donald. That's the toughness that Terry was talking about.
Yeah.
He just continued to get better and better, and he's become a leader of this team, both vocally and on the field. It's really cool to hear some of the other guys in the locker room talk about him, how much they respect him, the coaching staff, how much they respect him. He's not very old, and he really has taken on that captain role, being named captain this year, taking on that vocal, that leadership role. It's part of the identity of this team, that offensive line and that mentality. I love that Penei Sewell has become a cornerstone of this team.
The only thing I would say about Penei Sewell, I wish he was a little taller, maybe 2-3 inches taller. To me, he's a Mack truck.
Yeah,
and he's almost built like a defensive tackle, where he's going to bull rush you, but you don't want him bull rush. You just want him to keep people away. So. I just wish he was taller. That would probably make him better. And some of the penalties recently have been a little bit annoying, but I guess we can't expect players to be perfect through a 16-game, 17-game season. It's impossible.
6'5" isn't tall enough for you, Terry?
No.
337. He's 337. He is a massive human being.
He doesn't look that big.
That's the thing.
When you see him, he doesn't look that big.
I think it's because he kind of looks friendly.
It's interesting you say that. I think
you know what? I am so sorry. You know why? You know why I think he doesn't? He's got a flat head. That's what messes him up. He got a little flat head.
Maybe he has to change his haircut.
He does.
That would give him a little bit more height if it wasn't like the flat haircut.
I don't think Penei Sewell needs to change a thing. Not one thing. You're perfect, my guy.
His head looks like an anvil.
It is heavy.
An anvil is tough, though.
An anvil is tough, and it's
heavy. You ever try to punch one?
I haven't.
Break your head.
Can't say I have. I think he's looking pretty good. I think several people across the league would agree. I think, that's the way that you have to go with fixing the penalties. But next on our list of key matchups is Cam Sutton and Keenan Allen. Ooh. Keenan Allen, a name that we have discussed going into this game as a potential threat. It seems like the key to this game is slowing down Allen. Do you think that Cam Sutton is up to that task?
Oh, yeah. I think Cam Sutton is. Not to say he's going to be successful. I sure hope he is. But Keenan Allen's one of the best. He's one of the best wide receivers in the league, and maybe one that we don't see as much here in Detroit. Being a Charger, being on the West Coast, he's almost their version of Amon-Ra St. Brown. The way he works within 6, 7, 8, 10 to 11 yards. He's not really a deep threat, but he's a precise route runner that Justin Herbert trusts. And now with Mike Williams, their other star wide receiver, out for the season, Keenan Allen is really it. They haven't worked in Quentin Johnston, their rookie out of TCU. Eckler, the running back Eckler, they use a lot in the pass game, but Keenan Allen's it. Cam Sutton's got to be ready to go today, ready to play him close to the line of scrimmage, maybe jam him a little bit so he can't get into his breaks as quick as normal. But it's going to be a tough task.
Yeah, I know Cam Sutton is your MVP.
That's my guy, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, former baseball player, too.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, right. Drafted actually by the San Diego Padres, so he's got a little connection to this team.
Even though it's not in San Diego anymore.
I know, but
That's all right.
I will tell you that we're talking about your MVP, but my next matchup is Terry's MVP, Alex Anzalone versus Austin Eckler. How do you think Anzalone's going to show out today?
I think it's going to be a tough matchup for him.
Okay.
I think he's gonna make Alex look silly a couple times. He's not going to be able to keep up with him. But for the most part, Alex Anzalone makes plays. Alex Anzalone's in a different frame set. I think he's got better talent around him. He knows that just now and then he can go in attack mode. And so he breaks off his major assignment when he realizes it's that person, that running back, or whatever he's covering, is no longer a threat, and he just goes after the quarterback. I like Anzalone's mentality. It's like, I'm just going to attack now. I'm going to fight somebody.
You said it's going to be hard for Anzalone to stifle Eckler, but if he does, are you finally going to hear him getting the credit that he deserves, that we've all been saying that he deserves all season?
No. I just don't think people are going to give it up to him. The Lion coaches do, because they play him more than anybody else. They trust him. They put him in spots where he has to excel. But as far as the public, Alex Anzalone has been real good all season. When you hear the public talk about, but 2 years ago he was out of position a few times. Well, that was 2 years ago. Who cares? Doesn't matter now.
No.
He's such an important part to this team.
He is, but I go back. White guy playing defense. The public doesn't trust it.
But he does have the long blonde hair that puts him
That's
up
my
a notch.
thing.
Yeah.
That's my thing. That's not the public's thing. And he's shown that he's got a little speed, but they still say he's slow.
He's sneaky athletic, which I guess is the term to give to a white linebacker.
Right.
Sneaky athletic, but he is.
Blonde locks.
Yeah, he is. He's been great both in coverage. I shouldn't say great. He's been very good in coverage, rushing the passer. He's taken on some new roles this season in his new linebacker spot. And I think it's working out, and the team loves him. They trust him.
You know what he's been pretty stout at, too?
What?
Making the tackle.
Yeah.
A lot of times teams, they get thrashed because they're there, but they don't make the tackles. Anzalone has been making the tackles. He knocks guys down. He's been bumping them out of bounds and whatever he's had to do. So he's done his job. It would be, it doesn't matter if he gets credit for it or not, just as long as the Lions win and the defense is still one of the top ones in the league. Who cares if people recognize that?
Yeah.
I think he's going to be rejuvenated because he said that he spent his bye week kind of laid back. Even purchased NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube and tuned into some of the games on Sunday since he wasn't out there playing.
That could be bad for him, though.
You know what?
That could be bad for him. He could see some bad football, so that could mess him up a little bit. So be careful.
He wanted to keep his eyes on some of the teams that they may be running into. Said he hasn't. I don't think he watches the league too much other than film for the teams of the upcoming games. But
when do they really have the time to?
Right.
You got to focus on the next step ahead of you.
Exactly. This was his chance to be like, all right, Eagles, 49ers, Cowboys. Okay, how are you guys doing? How you looking? We could be running into you in the future. Anzalone, he's doing some studying during his bye week.
Studying and preparing for their second kid.
That's true. More blonde babies.
More blonde babies running around
that means
Ford
he's not
Field.
going to get any rest.
I'm sure he will. I don't know when his wife is due. Could be a bit.
I don't
You
either.
never know.
Let's hope it's soon. Because after the baby, he's not going to sleep for a while. So you want to make sure that he's getting his sleep later in the season and for the playoffs.
True. Or just wait till February. 3 weeks into February.
Yeah, had the baby in February.
Yeah.
But they're not going to the Super Bowl.
Hold them in there. Why do you say
Not
that?
with that attitude, they're not.
The Lions are not going to the Super Bowl this year.
How can you say that already?
With my lips and mouth, brains.
Lips, teeth, tip of the tongue.
I have a philosophy. This is the first time that the Lions have been a real organization. And I don't think the first time you get it right, you're not going all the way.
I happen to agree with you, but I didn't think the NFC North was going to turn out like this. I didn't think that the path to the playoffs was going to look like it does with them playing as well. And maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid a little too much, but I don't know. To win it, I do think there's some luck involved. You need some things to fall into place. And I don't know if this is enough for the Detroit Lions to pull the rabbit out of the hat in year one, but some of those things have fallen into place. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities.
It may not be, but it's not going to happen.
All right, you can feel that way.
Do they have a shot? Yes.
Yes.
Are they a contender? Yes. Is it going to happen? No.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Fair. I'll accept that.
I have one more matchup that we need to talk about. Not matchup, more of a comparison. A little JG, JH, little comparison
The QB.
going on. A little quarterback comparison. Jared Goff versus Justin Herbert, if you weren't sure who I was talking about. Do you believe that if the Lions win, does that tell you more about Jared Goff being underrated or Justin Herbert being overrated?
So you're saying if the Lions win, you were about to answer?
Yes.
Let it fly, Terry.
I think it's going to be more Justin Herbert is overrated.
Okay.
Because they're starting to, he's a really good quarterback. But, Jared Goff, I don't know. Jared Goff is just that pit bull. And he doesn't look like a pit bull, but he's a guy that's he's been told most of his career he's not good enough. And I think what we might see is that chip on his shoulder shine. But you know what? Jared Goff nationally doesn't get that much publicity. Herbert does. Herbert is a guy, he's one of the golden boys. He's one of the guys that the national media looks at and says they scrutinize him more. If Jared Goff wins this game, they'll just say, okay, Lions won, that's good, let's move on, bam, great. But let's look at what's wrong with Justin Herbert.
Without a doubt.
Right. But the narrative should be maybe we underrated Jared Goff. That's what it should be, but it won't be.
If they win, it'll be Ben Johnson had a great game, scheming the offense, and the Chargers didn't play well. The offensive line kept Bosa and Mack out of the backfield, so Jared Goff had time to make the throws. You still got to make the throws. You still got to lead the team and make the pre-snap audibles, make the pre-snap reads. There's so much that a quarterback can do, and so much that Jared Goff has done to help lead this team this year. It is a game. If he went. I agree with you how it would look. If Jared Goff wins, it'll be more about Justin Herbert. It should be the other way around.
I know, and Jared Goff should get a new T-shirt. Jared Goff versus everybody.
Right?
Because sneakily, he's Detroit now. He can't pass. He can't throw the deep ball. He's not really that good. He's a system quarterback. All these things about him, but what does he do? He wins. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's efficient. So he proves the doubters wrong, but the doubters really don't pay attention to that. I think the Lions is such a team game that a lot of people look at the Lions. You can put anybody at quarterback and still win here.
It's not true.
It's not true,
right.
But
true.
It's what people believe.
Yeah. For everything while you were talking, it made sense. Everything you're saying, the chip on his shoulder, is everyone counting him out. That's why he does fit as a Lion, even being a Cali boy. He's got a pretty laid back attitude, but he's tough and he's mentally strong. I think that's something he's developed. He's learned over this stretch of time where he's been through some ups and downs and been passed on in Los Angeles. I'm proud that Jared Goff is a quarterback, whether he's a long-term guy or not. I do think he's the right guy to lead this team, and one of those reasons to be optimistic in a playoff run, I'll say.
And I think that you speak for a lot of Lions fans and a lot of Detroit.
It's not
and
easy.
People here love Jared Goff. And one of the reasons that I'm saying that right now is because for Halloween, Jared Goff dressed up as Willy Wonka. And that video, literally, I don't think I could open my phone without seeing that video, that his fiance had posted on her story with him doing the hat, and he's just kind of like sitting back, kind of grooving a little bit. I think he could use a couple of dance lessons from Mr. Foster over here. But that video was everywhere, and it's just little things like that. When Detroit gets a taste of Jared Goff, they love it. They love it, and it's everywhere, and it lasted weeks afterwards. I'm still seeing the video.
Looks like I'm going to have to go in the locker room and teach him the funky chicken.
Oh, yeah.
We have to do that. But he did look a little nerdy in that thing. So, but that's Jared Goff. He looks nerdy. He looks innocent. He looks like he can't hurt you, but he can.
He's an assassin. He's so accurate. I don't know. It just works perfectly in this offense. And speaking of dance moves, Terry, do you remember the Choppa City Juke, Chris Johnson end zone dance?
You know what? We were talking about that earlier. I do not know how that one goes, but I was telling you my favorite touchdown celebration now is the waddle.
The waddle. But Jalen Watt from the Miami Dolphins?
Yep.
So like a little penguin?
Move.
All right.
I think it's really cute.
I think before Tuesday. So if Amon-Ra St. Brown finds the end zone today,
yes,
he's expected to be doing the Choppa City Juke in honor of...
So hopefully we can all see what that is.
Yes. So go to YouTube and search Chris Johnson touchdown.
I want it to be a surprise.
Yes, it'll be a St. Brown surprise if he ends up in the end zone. He was talking about that on his podcast this weekend. I had a chance to chat with him for a second in the locker room this week. He said he's been practicing. If he gets in there, I think it's one we can expect.
Absolutely love that.
Because I want to see how this thing goes. If he doesn't do that, then he should do the waddle.
Waddle, baby, waddle, baby, waddle, baby,
I think
waddle.
they would save that for
Miami.
If they ever played Miami.
What about one of these?
But
what about one of these?
If you do it against Miami, then they'll get all fired up and pissed off that they're making fun of us. And
I mean,
all that
they
kind
have
of
to
stuff.
expect some people to make fun of their dances. They spent, I think, more time choreographing those than any other team in the NFL.
Yeah, but they're good. They're good. They're good TD dances.
Back to Justin Herbert and Jared Goff. So Herbert is sitting at 98 rushing yards this season, and Jared Goff is sitting at 13. Is that room for concern?
No, absolutely not.
No.
But I don't want Jared Goff.
I had to bring it up, but
He can't run. He runs like my grandmother,
Yeah.
who's dead, by the way.
Oh. So he's really slow, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he runs funny.
But I've been a little impressed, and I don't want him to run. He's not a runner, but I've been a little impressed at his decisions to run this year. We've seen a couple more. We've seen a couple touchdowns, but we've seen a couple times where he's been able to sneak out of the pocket, and he's taken those 5-6 yard runs and gone down, the quarterback slide. But you're right. He's a pocket quarterback. He just needs to be protected.
I mean, he's successful at it, but when he runs, he looks like he's got a purse stuck up his ass.
He might.
He does.
Could be his girls.
a purse of all items.
Purse.
A purse.
Yeah.
Okay, that was kind of a trick question, but
Like
really
one of those Coach purses that Gabby has.
Okay.
They're really nice ones.
Okay.
The ones you can't afford.
I can't.
That was a trick question because I want to really know what you think Jared Goff will thrive at today, and what is the key for Jared Goff today to thrive at to take down the Chargers in Los Angeles. Say it with me.
Los Angeles.
L.A.
Oh, Wales. Just kidding.
I think Jared Goff is going to be your prototypical passer in the 90s.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to be safe all the time. I think he's going to air it out a little bit because it's not in the elements. It's technically an outdoor stadium, but it's sort of indoor stadium. The biggest wind you're going to get is like a little breeze that kind of waffles through now and then, but it's going to be the air conditioning is going to be the biggest breeze there. So I think he's going to be Dan Fouts today.
Little Dan Fouts action. Pulling that name out.
Yeah, and you know what's going to help him? He's got Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yes.
Today
Amon-Ra
we're
St.
going to
Brown.
see something new.
Him.
We're going to see the two-back offense of the Detroit Lions, Gibbs and Montgomery.
Yeah.
So that's going to, once you get that rolling, then that's going to allow Goff to say, okay, I'm going to have some fun passing the ball a little bit today.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to throw it to you and ask I'm switching it up. What would your Achilles heel be for Jared Goff today?
Well, the Achilles heel, if Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker can't contain Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, or Frank Ragnow can't contain Thule, I'm not even going to try the last name anymore. I think if Jared Goff has that pressure that he felt with in the Baltimore game, if he can't have his time in the pocket, his time to do play action, it could be a long day with the Chargers pass rush. If they can get to the quarterback, they're going to bring him down. So he needs to get the ball out quick. I know it's not his Achilles heel, but the second level of the Chargers defense is probably the weakest part of their defense, which is a strength with Amon-Ra St. Brown, with Sam Laporta. So I think as long as he has enough time, he's going to be able to find those guys in those 5 to 10 yard routes and have a really big day. But you're right. If Bosa and Mack and Tui get to him, it could be a tough one for the Lions. Like that's the one situation where the Lions could be in some trouble today.
Yeah, if they can't contain those guys, then St. Brown is going to have to be the MVP of this team, because there's going to be shorter intermediate routes. But if they contain them, I think Sam Laporta is going to be the man today.
Yes, that's a great call.
He can get up the field a little bit.
Oh, yeah. His little yards after catch. Sam Laporta, he's turned into one of the best tight ends in the league as a rookie. This is a game meant for him and St. Brown. Like, this is a game that's suited for them. I think they could have big ones.
Now, we're kind of already getting into it, but as always, we end our pregame shows with pessimistic, optimistic, and Lions game score prediction. So let's get into it. Let's start off with the optimistic for this game. Terry Foster, what is your optimistic point for this Lions-Chargers game?
That we're going to see a new Lions offense we've never seen.
Yeah, baby.
They're going to have Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery going between the tackles, being the two-back offense that you need to win this league and not a one-back offense. It looks like Gibbs got his confidence. Looks like the offensive line and the rest of the offense have confidence in him now. The public even has confidence in Jahmyr Gibbs.
Heck yeah.
Yes, he can go between pet tackles. And yes, he can be a number one back, which I said 2 weeks ago he's not a number one back. But now he can share the load. I don't like David Montgomery taking 80% of the offensive snaps at running back. I don't want him running the ball 85% of the time. You need that number two guy, and that number two guy is going to have to run it 45% of the time. One, to lock down on injuries. B, to give the defense a different look. We're going to see a new look Lions offense today. So I want you guys out there who are listening, take a picture of it, because this is the first time you're going to see the two-back Lions offense, which is going to open it up for Jared Goff to be a little footloose and fancy-free passing, too.
Yeah. And I think having Jahmyr Gibbs, kind of sneak to the outside on some of the, whether it's rushes or screens or some halfback passes along the outside, that keeps Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa having to stay outside, having to stay contained, not able to rush, 100% in on Goff. So they do, like you said, Terry, need to have that balance between Montgomery and Gibbs.
I don't want to be a dead horse because I know we've talked about it plenty this show, but my reason to be optimistic is how many threats that we have on the offense that are healthy, that are coming off of a bye week and feel very well rested. So that is my reason to be optimistic. Do you have anything else to add to the optimism?
Yeah, I think the Lions' strengths are the Chargers' weaknesses. I think running up the middle, our center and guards, now with David Montgomery healthy, with Jonah Jackson healthy, and that second, like we said, the linebackers, the second line of defense, I think plays right into some of the Lions' strengths with Laporta, with Amon-Ra St. Brown. If they can utilize Gibbs on the outside, Khalif Raymond, Jamison Williams, doing some creative things to keep that defense spread out, all that does is open up the center of the field for Amon-Ra St. Brown and Laporta, Josh Reynolds to really thrive. I just think it's going to be one of those games that the Lions, Ben Johnson has a game plan. He's been thinking about this since the moment they drafted Gibbs. He finally has his offense healthy. He hasn't been able to put his whole offense in, so he's been thinking about this, preparing for this. It shouldn't be something new.
Hopefully this is the moment where we see more of those sparks of that Ben Johnson offense that we've been waiting for this season.
I think you guys blew it again. I hate to be the mean guy, but the main reason to be optimistic, the Lions are coming off a bye week.
Yeah.
And Los Angeles, not San Diego, has a short week.
Yeah.
It's tough to come back from that Monday night game and then play Sunday, let alone the other team playing that previous Sunday.
Yeah.
You have a disadvantage. Now, the fact that the Lions have 2 weeks off, got healthier, their mind is sharper, they probably went online and bought a bunch of stuff and had a good time. They're going to come in with a very refreshing mindset. Then Ben Johnson is like, okay, now I got 2 backs now. So he's been scheming. He's been doing things. You know, Dan Campbell's been acting a fool and looking at game film a little bit more. He's probably come up with some things, and AG has too. So we might see some new wrinkles.
Yeah. The Chargers.
And new wrinkles from healthy guys.
Yeah.
True, and real quick, the Chargers are 26th in the league in opponents' fourth down conversion percentage. Do we see a little bit? Do you see the aggressive Dan Campbell come back out and play? Do we see some fourth down chances out of him? This might be one where he sort of opens his bag a little bit more.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
He might go for it on fourth down at his own 3.
That would be tricky. That's red zone offense is you got to wait till it gets to the other side.
No, that's not even red zone offense. I'm talking about his own.
No, right. I'm saying like he's got you got to take care of the other red zone. Right. Dan. No need to do it in your own.
He'll be 97 yards away from the touchdown. He said, "Let's go for fourth down."
Yeah,
they suck.
That'd be bad. Chargers are actually very good in the red zone. Austin Eckler, that run game hasn't been so great this season, but they are really good in the red zone. He finds a way to get in.
I like the point that you brought up, Terry, that this is coming off of the bye week and they had a chance to recharge. And I want to take this opportunity to give a little shout out to Colby Sorsdahl, who went home and ended up on the same flight as my parents next to my dad on the plane coming back from Texas over the bye week. So I'm sure he's all rested up, had a chance to get down to Texas, get back to his roots, spend some time at home. Of course.
He's like the nicest kid of all. He's a man, the nicest guy of all time.
I said that same. I go to my dad. I was like, "Isn't he just the nicest kid?" And my dad was like, "Gabby, he is your age."
Yeah.
So
6'4", 300 pounds.
It doesn't look
Gabby's
like
a
it,
kid.
right? It depends on the scheme that you put it in. But enough about me. Let's get back to the Lions. Let's talk about the pessimistic. What is your reason to be pessimistic today, Terry Foster?
Reason to be pessimistic is rust.
Yeah.
You know, you go through a routine, and some teams, not most, but some teams kind of forget what got them there. Their coordination, their choreography gets off. And so that could be the problem early in the game, and then the Lions kind of take over later in the game. So that's the only reason to be pessimistic. Another thing, the offensive line, we think it's healthy, but what if there's cracks in the offensive line? Then that could be problems because they, San Diego / LA's, I mean, the pass rushers, they got some studs up there.
How many sacks did they get last week? I think it ended up being like close to 8.
They had 8. I know they're second in the league just in sacks in general. And I know when I think out of the 40 snaps that Thule, Bosa, and Mack have played together this season, they've had 10 sacks. So they're batting 250. They know how to get to the passer. It's the one area you got to slow down. They got playmakers in the secondary, but they just haven't. Derwin James, Asante Samuel, they haven't played as well this season. But you just got to shut down that defensive line.
250, that's too high of a batting average. They have to bat like the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, below the Mendoza line.
150 or something like that.
Yes.
What is your reason to be pessimistic today, Matt Broder?
I think I don't believe in the Chargers. I'm going to preface it with that, but their backs are up against the wall. This is a massive game for them, both as a test for themselves to see where they are in the league and the playoff race, also from a record standpoint. They need to win this game to stay in the hunt. They're in the same division as the Chiefs. They got a long way to a long road ahead of them to make the playoffs. So, if they can pull out one of their magic Justin Herbert, 4 or 5 touchdown games, Eckler has a couple. They have that potential in them. They got weapons all over the place. I just don't believe in them. But that's why I think this could be that game for them where they're firing on all cylinders. I don't think it's going to be. I hope it's not, but they got that potential.
Yeah, I don't think they believe in themselves because the thing they've been talking about this week is we got to have more fun. That means that you're you're not playing well.
Yeah.
And that you're not confident in your teammates when they start talking about, oh, we got to have fun. So they'll never say, oh, we stink or whatever. But they admit they are up and down team. And I think it was Eckler who said that, what state do you think this team is in? He said, we're kind of in the middle, just not great, not bad. We're just kind of there, but we feel we can beat anybody. But that's every NFL team.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't seem so they were actually more excited talking about the Lions. Like, it seemed like they perked up than their own players. Brandon Staley talking about Justin Herbert. Like, the energy was just down.
Yeah.
It's very, very odd. I can't figure them out.
I think the reason of that, the Lions have become that team. If you beat them, I'm not saying it makes your season, but that's pretty significant.
Yeah.
Because you can shut up some of the noise. You beat a team that was on the radar. Philadelphia, the Niners, the Lions, Kansas City have all been the it team at some point during the season. So now you can knock off one of the it teams. So I think, it's not just beating the Lions like before, okay, we got a victory, that's fine. It's pretty significant. So I think the Chargers will be up for this game.
Yeah.
And if you lose to the Lions, you might end up firing your head coach and GM. Could not go through this episode without bringing that up.
No. Look what the Lions have done the last, 10 games? They got Aaron Rodgers out of Green Bay. They destroyed the Green Bay Packers for what we once knew them to be. They got the Las Vegas. Are they still in Las Vegas?
They're still in Las Vegas,
yeah,
the Raiders.
The Raiders, they fired their coach and GM. So the Lions have changed the league. They've changed the way the league looks.
Yeah, and you think, and I brought this up on Woodward Nights a couple days ago. There's a stretch coming up. I mean, if they beat the Chargers pretty handily, if they beat the Bears next week, could it be 3 straight coaches in a row getting the boot? We'll see.
Bye.
We'll see. Oh,
All
there
right.
it is.
We're going to talk about it because it is the end of the
Surprise.
show, but it would not be the end of the show without giving our score predictions. The Lions at the Chargers. Let's run down the list, and I'm being conservative this week.
Yeah, is something wrong with this? Because usually
Something
Gabby's the one that
so
says
wrong.
Lions 85, Chargers 15, or something like that.
And I will say, I had put my score prediction in before I had even got both of yours, and then I got both of yours, and I'm like, what is wrong with this? And the universe has flipped upside down. But I am going Lions 28, Chargers 24.
Means you don't believe in the bye week. That's what's up with you.
My reason to be pessimistic is the momentum that the Lions were working with. It does get stifled in the bye week. So I'm hoping that it leans more your ways, but that is my score prediction. Matt Broder, you are next and the opposite end of the spectrum.
I understand I'm the outlier and this is semi-outrageous, but I just have this feeling this is going to be that game for the Lions where like the Ravens made the Lions look bad, the Seahawks. I think the Lions come out of this bye week as sharp as ever. I think their Chargers are going to get the Lions' best game. I don't think the matchup is very well for the Chargers, and who knows, on that short week, I just don't see them. I don't see the Lions getting the Chargers' best effort. So I just have this weird feeling that it's going to be ugly for the Chargers, and the Lions just continue to move the ball down the field all day. If I were to change anything, it'd be the Chargers, maybe another touchdown and 42-23. But
stick to it.
Yeah, I am going to stick to it. I think the Lions are going to score some points. I just think they're going to find the end zone a lot.
You could be right, young man.
Yeah.
Because having 14 days off is a whole lot different than having 6 days off.
Yeah.
In this league.
Especially in that Jets game. Even though they won handily, it was an ugly game. It was a tough game. The Jets defense, they beat them up. Like they're going to be feeling that. They won big, but it wasn't a close game. But it was a close game, if that makes sense. Anyways.
Terry Foster, close us out with your score prediction for today.
27-14 Lions. I had to look at it real quick, but I just think I don't like when teams are playing that Monday night game and they have to come Sunday and play again. That's really tough. In fact, this is an unfair game for the Chargers. The NFL should never schedule a team with a short week against a team coming off the bye. That's not right.
Yeah.
So I think the Lions will beat them handily. LA is not a bad team, but there's no home field advantage there. There's not going to be a big decibel thing up there. Crowd, let's get loud. Let's get loud and disrupt Jared Goff. That's not going to happen. It's almost going to be like a neutral game.
Yeah.
And it's not right. I'm going to predict at least 50-50 Lion fans to Charger fans.
Love that.
Love
Jared
that.
Goff isn't afraid of a shootout in LA.
Of course not.
He's ready to go.
Of course,
He
team's
is
ready.
ready to go. 4:05 today on CBS. The Lions take on the Chargers in, say it with me, Los Angeles.
The city of angels.
Thank you so much for tuning in this morning to Woodward and Main Street, your Lions Insider Show on Woodward Sports Network, brought to you by Les Stanford.
Inglewood.
Inglewood.
Inglewood. Okay,
right.
so I stand corrected. I stand corrected. Terry Foster.
Right.
That's why you're the pro, Terry.
And I've been to Inglewood. Nothing right home to mom about either.
Okay, well, hopefully it continues that way today. We will be back on Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. to talk about the Lions and Chargers performance, hopefully with a Lions W, because as we all know, it is much more fun to talk about a W on a Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. than an L. So that is all we have for you. I am Gabrielle Dee Phillips, Matt Broder, Terry Foster. Thanks for starting your game day off with us, and we'll see you on Tuesday morning. Have a great day.
Bam.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle Dee Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.